Hey everyone, I just wanted to make a short video about how the main elements of nature are allowing us to reverse time, both perceived time and actual biological time. And it's quite interesting because all of the properties of nature that do this, all of the things that you can do within nature that cause this, they are all affecting both UV light and infrared light in your body or on your body. And it's kind of fascinating how this works because sunlight, in the peak sunlight like it is right now here in France, there is a ton of UV light, right? You get burned in the middle of the day from UV light. But it's really hot as well. The sun is really hot, and that's infrared light, and it needs to be there to balance UV light, just like it should balance blue light inside our indoor environments, but it doesn't. Because we don't add that back in, and that's what causes a lot of skin diseases and issues like melanoma. But we want to have both UV and infrared light. These two things together are what save time for us. They build dopamine, they cause us to experience time more slowly, and they are doing a lot of things for our cells in terms of making energy more efficiently. They cause the water to shrink in our cells, which allows everything to work more efficiently. And it's really fascinating because we get this a little more obviously from sunlight, but exercise also causes this. The more that you move, you're moving around electrons in your body, similar to how grounding works in terms of pulling electrons from the earth. And when you move, moving electrons like this simulates the way that UV light works. UV light is basically hitting your skin and setting free electrons from the melanin, the dark pigment in your skin. And if you're doing movement, you're getting a similar effect to exercise. Even if you're doing it slowly, exercise is getting a similar effect. Exercise is giving a similar effect to UV light. But then you're also getting very warm, right? And so your mitochondria are working harder. They're creating more infrared light. And then you think about cold exposure. You're getting cold, so it doesn't feel like you're warming up, but actually your mitochondria are creating a ton of heat to warm themselves up, to stay warm, to keep you comfortable, to keep your organ systems alive. And so actually you're creating a ton of infrared light, and they also create UV light. There's a part of the mitochondria called cytochrome 1, and when you get a lot of cold exposure, you're actually causing this cytochrome to release a bunch of UV light. And so this combination we see in nature of these things, the only things that really affect time in terms of the biophysics on a surface level are the cold exposure, exercise, and sunlight. And all of them revolve around these two light frequencies, UV light and infrared light, in order to cause time to be reversed. And what's really happening at a deeper level is entropy is being reversed when you use these two elements. When you have UV light, it's been shown through a lot of research, including Robert Becker's research on bones and Alexander Gurwitch. His research, they all show that UV light is causing a regeneration within the human body. It's been shown to reverse tumor growth, to cause even satellite tumors to go away. Basically reversing cancer, reversing tissue damage, reversing organ damage. There's a lot of things happening with UV light, and it comes down to some pretty advanced quantum mechanics principles. But you combine that with infrared light, and you know how red light therapy is getting really popular. Red light therapy is essentially using infrared light and similar frequencies to stimulate certain things in the mitochondria and change certain things in the mitochondria, including how dense water is, including stimulating things like cytochrome C oxidase in your mitochondria, which causes your mitochondria to work at near 100% efficiency. And a lot of people really need this because their mitochondria might not be very good from maybe their mother when they were born. That's why a lot of people get cancer and things like that when they're children, or they have really difficult to manage obesity as a child, and it gets even worse as an adult. You inherit your mitochondria from your mother. And so your mitochondrial function is kind of a function of how old you are and your environmental factors. And if you have a really bad diet, really bad environment, and maybe even your mother gave you really bad mitochondria because of bad things that she was doing or because of her age when you were born, you're starting to really hone in on an issue. You really don't want to be running at that efficiency because it ages you much more quickly. The less efficient your mitochondria are, the less efficiently they can manage entropy, which means that they can't manage chaos. Entropy is essentially chaos. And when you can't manage chaos, it's just like a refrigerator that's broken. It's not staying as cool. The food's going to go bad quicker. Different organs and different cells that have less entropy management are going to fail, and that's basically what aging is, and that's basically what diseases are. And in the end, when they all fail, that's what death is. So really the key point, the key takeaway is you want to manage entropy in your cells. You want to do it with UV and infrared light. They always need to be together. They always need to be combined, and they should always be from nature, never from artificial sources. And if you combine these things, you're always making your mitochondrial efficiency very high. You're keeping entropy low, and you're reducing the amount of aging that you're experiencing biologically. And also, they influence dopamine production and other, details like quantum coherence inside of your brain. The more coherence is happening, the more your brain is able to process things properly. It takes things like a camera at much shorter intervals of time, like basically taking way more pictures per second of what you're doing. And when your brain has this higher coherence and does this, it is basically able to see time happening much more slowly. And so you experience time much more slowly. Your day is much longer. Your life is much fuller. When you have more dopamine storage, you remember things much more vividly, and you feel much more excited when you use dopamine, and you still have plenty of storage of dopamine left to create that time dilation effect. So if you learned anything from this, it's that you should find any sources in nature of UV and infrared light, and this will help slow down time for your body.